Hello, my friends. Thank you for agreeing to help me out with this. I know I haven't done it in a while. They've been asking me to manuscript the messages, so it's been that's been consuming for me. So I haven't had the capacity to do both until now. Yes. So by way of context, before the sermon, I'm going to have them read Luke 11, 1 through 13, which is a parallel passage to the Matthew 6 one that I'm reading. And so just context there that will have been done beforehand. Then basically what I'm looking for here is is there anything you disagree with or you question or you need explain more? Is there anything where it's like, oh, that's a good point, but you just touch it. You gotta stay there a little bit longer. Is there anything that's unclear? Is there anything that's not really worth saying, so that I can cut it out? Because I'm doing the Lord's Prayer, and one thing about the Lord's Prayer, and I'm trying to do it in 2 weeks, is that it really should be done in 6 weeks, maybe 12 weeks, and so I'm going to try to do it in 2 weeks. So it's I have no idea how long it's going to take. I've run through it once, but I don't know. I'm just going to try my best to hopefully it's a reasonable amount of time. You'll already know because you'll see. But yeah. Have you ever felt like you're just missing something? Maybe you're wearing an outfit, or maybe you're an artist and you've done this thing, you've completed the package, but it just feels like there's something missing. It feels like there's something more that you're supposed to have there, and maybe it's a belt or something like that for your outfit, or a tree, or there's something else that you need in the picture, but you can just sense that there's something, but it's hard to put your finger on, but you can just sense that there's something missing. I think that the disciples had this with Jesus, but maybe they didn't even know something was missing until they heard him pray. But there was something about the way that Jesus prayed, something about the way that he connected to God through prayer, that made them realize that they were missing something, that there was something that he was doing that they weren't doing. And so they did something that is really admirable, and something that we could all take a lesson from as well, is that they decided to ask, and they decided to learn. I don't know if that's something that's ever even really crossed your mind, is that prayer is something that we can grow in. Prayer is something that we learn. We can learn about prayer. We can learn how to pray better. We like to say prayer is just talking with God, yeah. But even when we look at it that way, you learn how to talk to the other person as you talk to them more. You learn more about what do they like, what do they not like, what topics are really interesting to them, what are some things that they just want to avoid talking about, what do we agree on, so you learn with people, and learning things about them and their preferences helps you to communicate better with them. And it's similar like that in prayer. It's just talking with God, but it's something that we can grow, and it's something we can learn. The disciples were hungry to learn more about prayer, and they got to learn from Jesus. And in the same way, we get to learn from Jesus. We're going to be reading from Matthew 6, which is called the Lord's Prayer, but if we think about it, it's not the Lord's Prayer proper. The Lord's Prayer proper is John 17. In John 17, the Lord prays. This is more the Lord's Prayer, as in it was given by the Lord. The Lord gave it to his disciples. And it's important to understand in this passage that this prayer isn't meant to be a prayer in and of itself. Oftentimes we've used it as that, but he doesn't say, this is what you pray. He says, this is how you pray. What he means when he says this is that this is a model. This is a model of prayer that he is giving to his disciples, and it's a very good model. It's clearly the best model. So it's a model. It's not meant to be said verbatim all the time. It's meant to be memorized so that we can use the model adequately and properly, but it's not meant to be just said over and over again. We know this because in the passage we're about to read, he says, don't go on babbling like the pagans. Don't just vain repetitions and such. So if then we decide that because this is the prayer that he gave, we are now supposed to repeat it vainly, it just doesn't add up. So this is not meant to be a prayer in that it's meant to be said this way over and over again. It's more a prayer given to us so that we can learn this model of prayer given to us by the Lord. So let's get into Matthew, and we'll start in verse 6. And when you pray, you must not be like the hypocrites, for they love to stand and pray in the synagogues and on the street corners. They love to be seen by others. Truly, I say to you, they have received their reward. But when you pray, go into your room and shut the door, and pray to your Father who is in secret, and your Father who sees in secret will reward you. And when you pray, do not heap up empty phrases as the Gentiles do, for they think that they will be heard for their many words. Don't be like them, for your Father already knows what you need before you ask him. Pray then like this: Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For if you forgive others their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. But if you do not forgive their trespasses, neither will your Father forgive your trespasses. So there is a lot to unpack in all of that, but I just want to focus on the specific prayer today. So he starts off by saying, Our Father in heaven. Our. Just breaking this down one word at a time. Our Father. This is a very intentional